Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are listening from. My name is Chibeza Chema Juliet, and this is the fourth episode of the story of my life. So, when my husband treated my cousin brother so badly, I felt so bad. But my brother advised me that I should just focus on myself, focus on my children. I should just let him, ignore him. But how possible it is to say it? A man that you suffered with, that you stayed with, without him having nothing. We were just managing life. And at that time, I have not served, I have not even served. So I just missed everything in life, only for him to now start getting money to treat me like that. It's not easy. So I became another version, like a different version of myself. So one thing I didn't know is that life will keep pushing you. People will push you to keep making decisions that may either ruin you or you regret or you learn from it. So it wasn't easy living with the same man who you loved, not because of money. Of course, there have not been money. It has always been just management. And now that money was now coming, that there was supposed to be peace, love, and enjoyment, loving the woman that have been with you all this while. So that was how I was wallowing in pain. I couldn't go. There is no place for me to go because my relationship with my family members are just surface level. My parents are late. I can't go back to my uncles. I can't go back to them. I can't go back there. Even though that I remember when I gave birth to my first son, my auntie said I can still come back home. That giving birth to a child does not mean that I had to get married. But what she does not understand is, where am I coming back to? Is it not that same house that I intentionally got pregnant and left because of chaos and problems? I should now come back after giving birth to my first son. But then I was still experiencing peace in my marriage. But now inside that marriage, I was now seeing hell. I was sick to my bones. Sick, just getting sick and sick and sick. No, I had no life. And now he treats me this way. He treated me that way. So I lost my mind totally. I went mad. I lost it. I stayed because I have nowhere to go to. And I can't even talk to them. I can't even tell them my problems. Because this was me, I made the decision. So we make decisions in life and we suffer the consequences. Though it was not my fault. Yes, it wasn't my fault. I was just a child and I was pushed. I was losing it. So I stayed because I had nowhere to go to. I stayed because I depend on him. I wasn't doing nothing. So it was now then after that I had to enroll to start learning sewing. For the first time in my life, I confronted something I have always been afraid of. I remember when I went to one of my cousin's house. She sews clothes, but because I've always heard that needle can pierce your finger and all that, I never neared her machine for one day. So, and I find it difficult to learn things. I find it difficult to be focused, to concentrate on things. I am easily distracted. Like this was what I was going through. This was what I have been my prayer points on the altar of fire. Always praying. I'm always anxious. Always in my past or future, but not in the present. Always anxious. Always depressed. So Even when I started going to learn the sewing and decoration, it's still difficult for me to learn things. So, but at least for the first time, I confronted my fears and I mounted machine and I was sewing. I was learning small, small. And because that time I have become so fat, and I started working on myself, started trying to lose weight because I was like, why did my husband do this? Is it because I've become so fat? So I remember when I was going to school, when I was going to the university, I was taking care of myself. I was looking good. But now, staying at home, doing nothing, giving birth, just I lost myself entirely. And then the same reason why I lost everything. Because had it been at least I was so following my sister-in-laws to do business or all those, I would have been more active than. But because I wasn't active in any way, not even in memory, reading things, I find it difficult to study anything. I find it difficult to learn things, to assimilate things. Even to talk was the problem because my speech was affected. Everything, it, my speech, everything was even my hearing, my sense of taste. I was having problem with all those things. I lost taste. I lost hearing and things, and even my speech. So, but I didn't know that a lot have damaged internally in my body. So, but then I now started working on myself, started making adjustment to selecting food. I said like I took hot water for up to 2 to 3 years. I was taking hot water as my water, no more cold water because I suffered serious pneumonia that blocked everywhere. The breathing issue it wasn't a small thing. So that was now when I started being more active to exercise, and I was really overdoing it. I was doing it in a depressed way. Even before I go to the work, I would exercise. I was overdoing it, and I didn't know that something was really wrong with my system. So, but that I think 2021 or early 2022, I took stem cell. This stem cell. I took two of it, and it really helped and worked wonders in my body. So that was when I started taking supplements. So and I know the things I was putting out, the cholesterol and everything. So I was still broken with what my husband did to me. I was still so broke. I couldn't forgive. I couldn't let go. It was it was so hard on me. So I kept on wallowing in pain, and before I knew it, there was this brother in church that I was so close to. We became so close that before you knew it, I cheated on my husband. And like I said, I have become another version of myself. Like I have become so bitter, so pain, unforgiveness, all those things have taken over my system and has taken over me. So I initially it wasn't my plan, but even when it happened, didn't regret it. And at some point, I even want my husband to find out. I wanted him to feel what I felt, to have a pound of of to get a pound of his flesh. And one day he found out about it, and that was it. I was happy. He felt what I felt, and it was that very day that I voiced out a lot of things. So, but something happened when, although he didn't find me in a bad way. I can deny it forever, but there is no need because I am not going to live with the guilt. So when he found me with the guy, and he was like, he traced me, and so when he found out, he called my brother and he told my brother what happened. It was even then that I told my brother what happened because who I called before was my cousin brother. So my brother got angry. My brother was like, how could he do that to me? And my brother was like, I should not panic that he's coming. So I don't know what my brother told him, and he felt like my brother was going to come with men, or my brother was going to come to intimidate him. He called his own brothers, and that was how the families came into it. And he knew the kind of family he came from. This was a family that, in fact, the moment I came out from that when I took that decision, I came out from that place. That my sister-in-law, my husband eldest brother's wife, they kept on doing meeting on her head. There was something that happened. They were like, she went to native doctor. But these were people, even including my own husband, almost all of them, they visit native doctors. These are Christian family, pastor's son, bishop's sons, but they go to native doctors. That even most of them, they do go to do all this odeshi of a thing. If you that maybe if you shoot them, it will not enter. These were the things they were doing. They judge people of the same thing they are guilty of because they are men. So that was how they did meeting on top of that my sister-in-law's head. Though there was something involved with that she told me, and so when they asked me of it and I said my truth and they used it against her, they were like, they concluded that she went to native doctor, and it was one of the reasons why they sent her out of the house. That was that she's an outcast. They were like, she can't stay in that family house. Pastors' sons, pastors talking about outcast and a human being an outcast. And that was how she was sent back to her father's house. So now he brought his brothers into our issue. And most of them, I know I'm not good, but God knows I've never wronged them in any way. But they are so judgmental. They now came into the matter and a lot of advice, in fact, the first thing they advised my husband to take was his his land papers, and to my mind was not there. I even knew nothing, even though that was not my problem. What am I going to do with his documents? My own pain was what he did to me. So even though that I did what I did to get my own pound of flesh, my mind still did not go that reach to decide that my marriage could be could be like, even that our children could be affected if we divorce me now. Like that same thing, I was like, where will I go back to? If we divorce me, where will I still go back to? Is it not that same house? So, but pain can cause you to take decisions that you yourself later you will be like, I lost my mind. So when he brought his brothers, okay, that was now when I was voicing out what he did to me in 2022, how he was not sorry because he felt he was made, because he so, and none of them even said something. These people have no conscience. They had no conscience at all. And all they wanted was for the marriage for us to divorce. But what they don't know is that it's not every woman that you can deal with that way, because then I didn't know that I am more. I am a woman and more. So they tried to do the same thing they did to my sister-in-law. They dissolved their marriage. But even though after dissolving that marriage, my husband brother, they still later gave birth, but she was not in the family house. So that was how the matter, they wanted everything. Their brother now has money now. This is a brother that they don't respect. They don't, in fact, respect reached to my husband and it stopped. It stopped. They treat him like he's not one of them. Because that moment that I left the house, it was later that he had that his entire family sold land for one of his brothers for him to travel. My husband was not aware. He was not told. Nobody told him. I think him and his eldest brother, two of them. But the other ones, all of them, they gathered together, sold land for one of them to travel. So there was discrimination. he was never valued. He was always treated like he doesn't matter. It was later, after selling the land, after doing everything, it didn't work. How they spend the money. My husband got to know, and when he felt that way, I told him, "Don't worry, don't worry. God will give you money. You will buy land." And before you knew it, my husband bought lands. And it was now when that thing happened that the first thing they told him was to gather his papers, his land papers, so that I don't take it on. My mind never went there. So that was how my own pain that day was. They were like I should go with my baby, the one I have in my heart, and the one that was still small, and my two sons will not go with me. So I will have to follow my brother. So that was my pain, was my two sons not following me. That was my pain. But as for my husband, I did not regret it that time. I didn't regret it. I had no regrets because that was what I wanted him to feel, and he felt it. But what he does not know is that he was looking at his brothers. He was following others, not knowing that him and them, they are not the same. He knew this was my husband, that if he had problem, then his brothers will never help him. They will not. It is me that will maybe call from my family side or friends, then to the point that I lost every friendship. That's everything. He can never ask anybody of anything then, and they will help him. So but immediately he got money, he now became their favorite. The same people that sold land and did not consult him, did not even he doesn't matter in the family, was the same people that when he wants to buy land, he will now call them and they will be involved, knowing the places he was buying. He doesn't know that the hearts of men. But it is really painful, how family, how blood can really as well. So that was how I was separated with my sons then, and I followed my brother to his place with my sister and then my small baby. So it was even my husband that now called my uncles to inform them of what happened, to tell them. Because me, I will never call any of them to complain. Shebi na me entered the marriage by myself. So I was going through my problem by myself. So they now try to settle it. So, but I tried to tell my uncle, one of my uncles, that I was in pain. I told my uncle, look at what my husband did to me, and my uncle was like, "Don't I know that he's a man?" That was what he said. So because he's a man, even after everything we've been through, he has the right to cheat on me, and not only cheat on me, be proud of it, treat me like a trash. Is that it? So that means him too. He's guilty of it. It was another of my uncle that told me that, in marriage you go through trials. There are points. Marriage must be tested. You go through pains. You go through trials in marriage. That all I can do is to pray. And I should just commit everything in God's hand. So, and when all these things was happening, that 21 days fasting and praying, I did not conclude it. I I kept on wallowing in pain to the point that I didn't finish that prayer. I stopped praying. I stopped. And then when my children was not separated from me, that was now when I went back to the altar. By then the 21 days have passed. And I went back to God, and I was still praying for his mercy to come and help me. So my husband, all of a sudden, so when he called my family members, he was now looking for reconciliation. He now knew what he has done, and he started calling me, and he told me to come back. Though he requested to know the truth, and I told him the truth, but I didn't know he could not bear the truth. I told him the truth, and I apologized. So, but when it was now one day that I saw how my husband was in pain. That night we were sleeping, and I woke up. I didn't see him. I found him at the staircase weeping. That was now when it was dawned on me that I have really lost my soul. I that was when I came back. That was when my conscience came back, because I lost my consciousness. I lost my conscience. That was now when I felt bad. I regretted my action. And I went back to God in prayer sincerely and I repented. That was when I truly gave my life to Christ. I gave my life to Christ and I started praying for my destiny. I sat down and I started looking into my life and I started praying serious. I've been praying for people, I've been praying for others, but this time I started praying for myself seriously for God to intervene. So as I was praying, and even though I confessed to my husband, I told him the whole truth. All right, I'll see you guys in the next recording. Do have a very great day. Bye.